Okay, so I got an email the other day asking about speed tips, tips for going faster. There's a lot of them, and it's something we're always kind of working at, right? And there's a bunch of different things that we can do to help us start working towards playing at those higher speeds. I'm going to go over a lot of them, and in no particular order here. So immediately, when I got asked about speed tips, I thought about a speed tip that I received from a few of my friends. Taylor Shuck, who plays with the Warren Treaty, and Jens Koch. I'm not sure if that's how I pronounce his name. Forgive me, Jens. But he played with G2, a really prominent bluegrass band out of Sweden. But both of those guys are great banjo players, and they can play really fast. And one of the things they told me was playing on the tips of your picks can help you increase your speed, and also can help you decrease extraneous or extra pick noise. So a lot of the times, when picking, the picks might get a little bit too deep in the strings. I hope you can see this, right? My pick is in between the strings and touching the banjo head. Way too deep. Sometimes having it a little bit deep can help you get really strong and powerful notes. But if you're wanting speed, we don't want necessarily strong and powerful always. We want it kind of swift. So just having the pick or the tip of the pick there, and I'm preparing it before I play and start my roll, which is also another good way to practice speed. This is called planting, where my fingers are touching the strings before I start. But having the tips on there and trying to aim for just the tips playing over the strings can help greatly with speed. So even once I got it moving, I tried to keep my fingers from, sliding back in and going too deep. I tried to keep them out here in this area. Right, so there's going to be more tips that I give, but when it regards like pick hand posture or certain pick hand movements, it's going to be best to work on this in a really controlled way. So not necessarily trying to do it with a whole song. That's going to be too much and too overwhelming. We want to do it like with one roll, or even with some of like the one finger workouts that we have on TuneFox. Those are so good for helping you increase your speed, and whenever you're trying to work on fixing or improving your pick hand posture. Just doing these one hand workouts, or one finger workouts, excuse me, where you work on just playing one string at a time. But you'll also work on playing a bunch of different rhythms just on one finger. So it really helps you up your rhythm game with each of the individual fingers, which hopefully once you get good with each finger, it's going to make a big difference when you come back and try to combine them and start playing some rolls where you're using all the fingers at the same time. So trying to play on just the tips of the picks with the one finger workouts would be great. Another thing when playing these one finger workouts, and this is something that I mentioned in the video, this is a tip that I got from Ron Block at a banjo camp at Smoky Mountain Banjo Camp. And he said a big key to going really fast on the banjo is resetting your pick. So after you do these, you play the string in these one finger workouts, or even just sitting around playing one string at a time, immediately reset it like I'm doing. And you see I'm resetting it in the air right above the string. And I'm also trying to reset it so that only the tip of my pick is going to strike the string on the next time. Right? You don't want to pick it and then reset so your finger's way deep and almost touching the banjo head. That's not achieving the goal that we're looking for of playing faster. Okay, another tip, I got this one from Jack Hatfield, who's an amazing banjo player and legendary banjo instructor, is trying to get the motion of your pick hand to come from these knuckles here, these knuckles that are in the middle. So a lot of the times, a lot of banjo players get really tense and the hand gets kind of squashed and the palm comes down. We don't want that palm to come down as much. We're going to want it to be up a little bit more, and ideally the back of the hand here is almost parallel to the banjo head. And you can see now I've got these fingers are nice and extended. They're no longer too curled at these first joints, right? And then when we do that, try to get your pick motion to come from this joint right here. And that's going to help get you a little bit smoother sound And having the finger elongated like that is definitely going to help you move it a little bit faster. And again, this is something you can work on when messing with those one finger workouts. It's like I said, it's a simple thing, and working on it in that controlled way will be a lot easier, more achievable, and less overwhelming than trying to do these complex and intricate movements when playing a full song. All right, so that's a lot on like particulars of the pick hand movement and posture, but there's more things we can do. One thing I've noticed with myself and with other people is we've got the tendency to hold our breath. So we want to breathe in a relaxed way while we're playing, and a lot of the times when people are holding their breath, it's because they're trying something that's too hard or trying to play in a way that's too fast for their current skill level. More often than not, we need to back it up and play achievable pieces of music at achievable speeds. But we want to breathe in a relaxed way, as I said, while we're playing. So just starting off doing some foundational things like a roll or those one finger workouts, and trying to breathe while you play. Right? I was just doing a forward, backward roll and trying to breathe in a relaxed way. Not taking these huge heaping breaths and moving my body a bunch. Something that I've learned from singing instructors is that a relaxed breath, you won't see your shoulders come up and down. It's going to be more like a belly breath. Right? You could see the banjo moving in that case because the breath was coming from more low down. But to get a good breath, you do want to have decent posture, right? So being hunkered down like this, that's not going to help you breathe. It's actually going to make it a lot harder to breathe. So having some decent posture, not uncomfortable, will help your breathing as well. And so breathing while we play, but sometimes taking a few minutes before you start and just closing your eyes and relaxing and taking a few deep breaths. It'll get you in a good state of mind and ready to play. So working on these foundations is always going to be good. The one finger workouts, going through and practicing all your different rolls at different speeds is going to be something that's good too. And also essential Scruggs licks. If you are someone who's doing Scruggs style banjo and trying to play faster, you want to be able to play like all these common licks really, really well. And it's going to be a great way to increase your speed because again, we'll be able to like focus on a little piece at a time. And with the Scruggs vocabulary, you know, if you've been doing it a while, you know that we see the same bits of vocabulary over and over in all these different songs, right? So being really good at those and pushing our speed with one lick at a time using the focus feature in TuneFox is an excellent way to try to push your speed. So you might turn the focus feature on and let's say we've got this lick here. Right, first get it going at a speed you can handle and then start bumping the tempo up. When you start getting to the really high speeds for you, for wherever your speed ceiling is, instead of just going over and over, sometimes that can be good, but if you notice you start kind of tensing up and your hand goes from like having this nice posture we talked about to like squeezing up, if you notice that happens, start putting like a break in between each repeat. So play the lick once, and then listen through the next playthrough and then get the one after it. That'll give you a second to kind of rest your hand, make sure you're breathing, you know, do all these things, and maybe even plant, as I talked earlier, to get ready for the next time the lick comes around. You may even let the lick play through a few times, you know, 2 or 3 times before starting in again. Like make sure you're fully relaxed in your breathing and in the muscles in your hand before you start back in. Another huge important thing is dynamics. We don't want to always be playing and definitely don't want to always be practicing where we're just digging in hard as all get out and playing super loud. 1, it's not going to be very sustainable. 2, no one wants to hear it. 3, you need to work on dynamics if you want to be a good musician. And a lot of the times I've noticed when I get playing a lot faster, if I can have that lighter touch, a lot of the times I can get to a higher speed level, right? Diverting a little bit of that kind of muscle movements, not to playing hard, but to playing swiftly. But that's something you're going to have to practice. If you haven't done it before, this can be very tough. But again, maybe work on your rolls and just do one roll for a while. Play it at the same speed, but see if we can go quiet, hang there for a while, medium, loud. So messing with your dynamics is something that just gives you more control. And that will lead to being able to play at faster speeds. And something when it comes to like practicing tunes, this is a tip I got from Brian Sutton, legend, absolute legend. But he suggests this kind of 3-tempo workout. So let's say you're working on a tune. Let's say it's like ground speed or something like that. At the first tempo, you want to practice at a speed that's comfortable for you. Now, what that is depends on where you are as a player, right? But it needs to be a speed where you can like get all the notes right? Where it's not a struggle. So it may be super, super painfully slow. That's fine. The next tempo, the middle tempo, that's where it's like it starts to get a little bit fast, but you can still hang in there. You don't feel like it all falls apart. And then the third tempo, it needs to be something just a bit higher to where it does seem like every now and then it might fall apart a little bit, but you're able to catch back up. Right? So you're starting to push yourself and push into that uncomfortable zone a little bit. But a big key here is going to be thinking about how it feels when you're playing at these super slow speeds, these attainable speeds where you can get all the notes right. Think about how it feels, like the muscles in your hand, or just how your body feels or how you're thinking. And you want to try to take that kind of state of mind and bring it to you when you start to play in these faster tempos. Because that's a huge thing, like I talked about. When we start playing faster, we want to be able to stay relaxed. We don't want to start tensing up because it's going to absolutely ruin our ability to play faster. All right, so a lot of tips there. Should have a list of these and written down so you can reference them. But hopefully those will be some good ideas for you to try out to get you going to kind of spice up your practice routine and help you to start achieving speeds that are just a bit above of where you've been and to the spot that you've been reaching. All right, I hope you all enjoyed that and I hope it helps. Keep picking, stay tuned.